I don't even know why I have to keep doing this. People just can't get it, and I really have to try drill it into their little brains at this point. Just how idiotic and absolutely outlandish this is. But, well, fanboy's going to fanboy, and defender's going to defenders, and apologist's going to apologize. What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only Q from Retro Q Gaming, back at it as always. And if you didn't know, because no one actually pays attention to it, because it's fairly laughable, the Nintendo Switch has had its latest recent software update just fairly recently. Now, I don't know the exact date, because that's basically irrelevant, but it's very, very recent. Now, this version we have out there, which I believe is 9.0.0, it adds a feature. I'm struggling to say this with a straight face. 2.5 years into the console's lifespan, in 2019, the end of 2019, that was present on consoles in 2002. Every single console in 2002, except maybe Nintendo consoles, because, well, Nintendo is absolutely laughably, absolutely insanity when it comes to it, bad at everything that involves the internet. Well, it's just, it boggles the mind, absolutely boggles the mind. Or as someone once said, it bottles the mind. You know when your mind and your thoughts are all like trapped in a bottle and just shook up and it can't escape and it drives you mental? Yeah, mind bottling, I know, right? So, what am I talking about? Well, the piece of shit, plastic, idiotic piece of crap machine, otherwise known as the Switch, aka the first party and late port machine, well, it now has the ability, and yes, you're going to hear me say this correctly, it now has the ability, 2.5 years after its initial launch, nearly at the end of 2019, to invite friends to play your game. That's right. To invite friends into your parties to play games together. That's right. The feature, it gets better, by the way. Trust me, it gets better. But this feature that we could use on PC since the 90s, from pretty much all consoles from the early 2000s, I'm looking at Xbox Live in 2002 when that launched, it just is now something that is so commonplace, so pedestrian, so automatic at this point that you don't even think that something can exist without this 17 years after launch. I know, it's absolutely insane. And here's where it gets even better. Remember when I said that it would get better? Well, you know me. You know my motto. I'm like Echo 4... What is it? Echo... Oh, this one's going to kill me. I'm like Echo 419. There you go. Just call me Faux Hammer. Just call me Q Hammer. Because you know my motto. We deliver. And yes, I am promising to deliver the lols. Because this feature that was recently added to the Nintendo Switch, 17 years after it became commonplace in every other facet, well, it's not a blanket. It's not a blanket update and not a blanket feature yet. Each individual game has to have it patched in. Right now, there's only one single game that supports this. That's right, one single game. You know what that game isn't? That game is not Nintendo's highest profile game on the system. One that has a huge focus on online multiplayer gaming. That was just recently updated with another massive update content patch and the release of a new character. That's right, that one game that does not support it, along with every other game in the library except for one, is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, I can't remember what game actually does support it, because it's such an irrelevantly named game, it just doesn't even matter whatsoever. But the whole fucking principle of this is absolutely laughable. This is beyond basic functionality. This is retro functionality at this point. 17 years. That's right, 17 years. Say it with me, people. 17 years. Xbox OG 180. Xbox Live. People have been doing it since then. That's right. OG Xbox. Xbox 360, even the fucking PS3, one of the worst designed consoles ever made. I say that because when you look at how awful everything about the PS3's UI, its interface, its network structure, its everything was absolutely awful. Now, granted, it's still miles ahead of anything Nintendo have done since the Super Nintendo, but even that could get it done. It didn't have party chat, but even that could get game invites done. Why? Because in the age we live in, the internet-driven era, where online multiplayer games focus is fucking huge. The biggest games of all time, at the moment, not just even at the moment, the biggest games of all time, almost all of them that you can think of in the modern era, are all heavily online focused. GTA Online, the sales juggernaut that it is, which is going to be the biggest selling game of all time eventually. That game is driven for years and years and years and years based on what? Online multiplayer. That's right, across 5 different platforms, none of which are Nintendo platforms, none of which are ever going to be Nintendo platforms because, well, like a couple of idiotic and fanboy YouTubers out there will tell you, oh, it's almost 100% guaranteed that it's a lock for the Wii U. It's almost guaranteed 100% lock and confirmed for the Switch. Guess what? It's fucking not, and it never fucking will be. No, I'm not surprised that they won't put it on this. Not just because the console hardware is a piece of shit, looking at both of the Wii U and the Switch, but their online infrastructure is just a fucking joke. Their user interface, their HUD, their OS, it's a fucking laughable. It's PS2 era stuff. And it's just ridiculous. But again, look at all the other big games we have these days. As much as it kills me to say it, look at Fortnite. Granted, Fortnite is on there, but again, it is one of the biggest games in the world at the moment, and for the last few years probably at this point. And of course, what is it? An online-only focused game. See? You see the pattern here. Oh my god, it just blows my mind how people can defend this. This beyond basic functionality, now only finally coming to this. And people will say, it's okay. People will say, yep, that's good. No. Why wasn't it there 2.5 years ago at launch? Okay, you know what? I will give you the benefit of the doubt. This isn't even something I would usually do, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Why was it not there day one and launch of the paid online peer-to-peer rip-off subscription service with cloud saves that don't work on every game? Why was it not there for that? Even if it wasn't there from day one, which again is beyond laughable, but I'm going to give you a little bit of leeway. Why was it not there when you were forced to pay for this service? Why are you defending it that it's okay to get it over a year after you've been paying for this service, when every other competitor out there has been doing it for up to 17 years? Think about it. Microsoft came into the game with their first home console, and they did internet better 17 years earlier than Nintendo's latest online, well, I wouldn't even call it online console, but their latest home console. A company that had been making games consoles for nearly 20 years longer. That would be Nintendo making consoles for nearly 20 years longer than Microsoft. And Microsoft did it better. And they still fucking do. Now, don't get me wrong. The Xbox One online system is a joke. It's a massive step back from Xbox 360 when you look at how the social aspect works, the invites, the friend requests, etc., etc. But it is still leagues ahead. It's so far ahead that there's no comparison. It's like comparing my high-end PC to oxygen outside. There's just no comparison. It's two completely different things. That's how fucking bad and irrelevant that the Nintendo Switch online system is, and how poor Nintendo are handling it in every single fucking way. How do you sit in this? Are you an apologist? Do you say, oh well, lol, they're finally giving it to me, thankfully they didn't have to do this? But no. Are you an apologist idiot? Are you a brainwashed Nintendrone? Or are you one of us logical people who sits back, points, and laughs as you go and just cry on your internet forums, your Twitter, your whatever it is, about how it's only $20 a year?